So, this time around for this fanfiction idea, I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a video talking about basically a fun idea I had regarding Alien. Just an Alien story, not a crossover, not an alternate universe, just a fun Alien story. You know, just having a xenomorph story. As you can see from the title, Alien, 1954. And you may be wondering, no, you're not doing an Alien story on Earth. Those are dumb. Well, yes, but let me explain. This isn't like an alien, this isn't a xenomorph invasion of Earth or something like that. This is more of an homage to the 1950 films with a xenomorph as your monster. Because yeah, Alien was very much inspired by those classic 50s movies. So yeah, I just thought it'd be kind of fun. What if we did a story, what if there was a story like that, but had a xenomorph and you had that level of gore to it as well? Like, think something like, you know, Night of the Creeps or the Blob or Fly remake. You know, have a 1950s setting and just with the gore of an 80s film. So yeah, let's dive into this. Let's talk about this story. So the story is very much like your typical 50s sci-fi movie where a quiet little town, let's put it in Maine, because everything, if Stephen King has proven anything, Maine is a horrible place to live, apparently. And a little town, little like fishing village in Maine, out in the forests, and in comes this spacecraft, crash lands on Earth, and an old man living out in the woods, just an old timey man, just going out to see the space rocket. And yeah, turns out that ship was a junker ship that got hit by a flash of solar radiation, knocked out the ship, and crash land on Earth. Wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't smuggling, xenomorph eggs, but most of the eggs were destroyed, except for one. And this is when the old guy goes in the ship, he finds the only remaining egg that survived. He's like, meteor shit. I had to reference it. I had to. So he grabs the egg, brings it into his house, like, I'm going to make me $200 from this meteor. So, of course, if you know any Alien movie, this is not going to end well. So the egg opens up, facehugger to the face, of course, and at that same time, the man's family, the old man's family, like his son and his wife, come in to visit the old man and see there's some weird shit on his face. Immediately taken to the hospital, where, while no one's looking, the facehugger dies, and of course, chestbuster. It scurries in. Everyone sees the chestbuster as it's erupting from the old man's chest, and basically, the xenomorph larva scurries off into the hospital. Of course, they call exterminators and the police, and the xenomorph is already growing in the hospital. Like, it's already growing, and those exterminators and police officers are the first in the long line of a creature of the alien going on a rampage in a 1950s U.S. Americana town. Like I said, I'm not, and I'm sure you guys aren't either, big fans of alien stories set on Earth. But as I said, I just had the great, just this fun thought of, what if it was just one xenomorph, not a queen, not like a huge shit ton of them, but just one. Just one xenomorph. Just one xenomorph in a small town. Like, that makes a lot of sense. And if you really play up the 1950s era Americana along with that sci-fi boom, which did inspire the original Alien movie, I think you could make an alien story on Earth work if it's just one. If it's just a single xenomorph. So, throughout this story, the xenomorph is scurrying around town, killing from thing to thing, or capturing it, and it basically builds a nest in the sewers. But the thing is, it doesn't have the eggs. It's just going on natural instinct of, like, I have to build a nest. I'm a xenomorph without a queen. I'm biologically programmed to build a nest and capture people. So it just drags, so it starts capturing people, and it does kill it does kill people when it's when it's attacked. Of course, you've got the typical making out couple. I wanted to have this fun scene where like they're making out at like a makeout point, and Xenomorph jumps on climbs on the car, and the girl's like, "What was that?" And he's like, "Oh, it was probably just, like a dog or something. Come on, baby, give me some, give me that face, give me them lips." And as they're kissing, the Xenomorph tail like leans down and skewers it goes to the window and skewers the guy through the back of the head, out his mouth, into the other girl's mouth, and out the back of her head. And he just pulls it out and kills them both. There's also, this is just a bunch of fun kill scenes in here. Another scene where the Xenomorph, it runs into a biker gang, like your typical James Dean biker gang from the 50s, and the Xenomorph, gets hit by a bike as it's scurrying across the a highway. It knocks it out, and it's just lying there, and everyone's like, "What the fuck is this? It's like, what kind of Halloween costume is this bozo wearing?" Xenomorph pops back up, grabs one guy, tongue mouth in between the guy's eyes, and just has a whole second mouthful of brain chunks, yanks it back, and just starts killing people indiscriminately before scurrying off. And another guy tries to get on his bike and flee. Xenomorph grabs him off the bike and pins him to the ground and just starts tongue beating him to death. It's not just one clean mouth bite. It's more like he's just doing it multiple times in the back and all of that. My favorite one that I thought up for this one was the alien, the Xenomorph climbs into a church during a late night mass, and this guy's of course all fire and brimstone, and the alien jumps down from the belfry and is observing everyone. He's like, "Be gone!" The priest grabs the cross. He's like, "Be gone, spawn of Satan! This is the Lord's house, and you will not." The Xenomorph just swats looks back and he's like, "See the power of Christ! It is all powerful." Xenomorph just then smacks the cross away, grabs the priest, and tongue mouths him through the mouth, out the back of the head, and then as he then splits the guy's head open in half and just throws the two halves of the head in there, and then just starts brutally murdering everyone in the church, like that scene with the blob in the movie theater. One guy tries to get away, it's a little kid, too. It's a little 11-year-old who, desperately smashes out a window and tries to climb out. The Xenomorph tail goes through his back and out of his mouth and splits the kid in half from the back, and then grabs the body, drags it back in. What was another one? I wanted to have, the sheriff's death be a reference to Bishop. In fact, the idea was the sheriff's name is, Sheriff Bishop, and Xenomorph through the tail through the torso, ripped in half. The Xenomorph does eventually die at a construction site where it's the building caves in on itself and it's just impaled and crushed under debris. Then the government shows up, takes the body, and is like, what could you make of this? What do you make of this body, Mr. Yutani? This is of course building to the way, they're of course the early corporation for Weyland, and this is what the idea is that it's the impetus for looking for the Xenomorphs out in space, no matter how long it takes. Anyway, so like I said, this is just a fun, brutal story, in the vein of the 80s Blob remake or the 80s Fly. Just a fun story. I just wanted to do a fun Alien story. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of Alien 1954? Do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? Also, yes, for those diehard fans, this putting it in 1954 is a direct reference to, it's the same year as Gojira, Them, and Creature from the Black Lagoon, and a lot of major 1950s movies, sci-fi movies came out, so yeah. Anyway, so once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and as always, if you haven't checked out my Patreon yet, go check that out. That's where the Halloween Kills review is, and a lot of other exclusive content. But other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.